going on, Fourth and Inches podcast listeners? This is Stevie P. What's going on, Kev?
Not much, Stevie P. Same old stuff. What's up, Fourth and Inches podcast listeners? We're going to do our daily, weekly daily fantasy Thursday show here. But before we get into that, me and Steve were just talking, figuring, we might as well get into the Ezekiel Elliott situation. If you haven't heard, he was his suspension was reinstated, and he's now suspended for the next 6 games after his bye week. So you're not going to have Zeke for 7 days. Me personally, you're not doing anything with Zeke except throwing him on your bench and wait until he gets back. Because when he gets back, he's going to have fresh legs, and if you're in the hunt, he could possibly win you a championship. So that it's just more so just news than actually anything to me you're actually going to do, because you're just throwing him on your bench and waiting until he gets back.
Yeah, I hear that. Yeah, I mean, it's a sucky situation, you know what I mean? From what I've understand, they're going to try to appeal and see how that goes. But as of right now, he's got the 6-game ban. And the only other thing I would say about Zeke is if you are a 2-3 team that you think you have Zeke, you just lost him, and you think you might be able to make the playoffs if you get another running back, maybe. You never know. The biggest thing is getting to the playoffs. So if you can trade Zeke for a running back or something that's going to help you to get to the playoffs, that's the most important thing, because getting there, you never know, your team can get hot in the playoffs and win. So you might want to see if any of the 4-1 teams or 5-0 teams are interested in holding on to Zeke and helping you out.
Definitely, that was what I was going to say. It's probably the team you trade him to probably has to be a team that's ahead of the game right now, that has a little bit of running back depth and can afford to get rid of them, or can afford to get rid of other running backs for a guy who's going to sit on his bench for a couple weeks.
Yeah, I hear that.
I don't know how. Never mind. I won't get into my conspiracy theories with the Dallas Cowboys.
I hear that. All right, everybody.
Why don't we get into our lineups? Why don't you throw your lineup out there, Steve?
All right. So, guys, Thursday is our DFS podcast, and we are going to get into our lineups. So, for me, this week I'm going with Matt Stafford over in New Orleans. I really like his matchup against New Orleans. I know it's in New Orleans. Game script seems to be a high-scoring game. Where I think Matt Stafford's going to have to throw the ball. And to pair up with him, I also used Golden Tate, just to have that little combo going. For running backs, I picked DeMarco Murray and C.J. Anderson. C.J. Anderson's going up against the Giants in Denver. C.J.'s played really well in Denver this year. He's got over 90 rushing yards, I believe, in every game so far in Denver this year, and a touchdown. So I like CJ this week. DeMarco Murray is in a Monday night game against Indy, and that always seems to be a higher scoring game. So I like DeMarco Murray. I think he's going to be running the ball a whole lot in this game, and he could get you a touchdown and hopefully 80 yards. My wide receivers are Julio Jones, Golden Tate, and Kelvin Benjamin. I like Julio this week a lot, going up against Atlanta. He just coming off his bye week, so he's got that week off of rest to rest that hip up, and he's been limited in practice, but I think that's just precaution, just to have him ready for the games. He doesn't really need practice time. So I really like Julio this week. Like I said, Golden Tate to match up with Matt Stafford. I like Golden Tate this week a lot, and Kelvin Benjamin going against Philly tonight. If you guys have listened to the podcast before, on Thursday nights I kind of avoid players on the Thursday night slate. For me it's either all in or all out for Thursday, and I do like this game a little bit. I like the wide receivers in this game. I think any of the three that you could pick, with Benjamin, Funchess, or even Alshon Jeffrey, I think any one of those three are viable options tonight. So I went Delaney Walker at tight end. I also went Ryan Suckup because I've been on the Ryan Suckup train. And the Broncos defense, to me, this week is a must-have. If you're not playing the Broncos defense against the Giants, you are making a mistake. No offense at all coming from the Giants, and I love the Broncos defense this week.
Okay. So with that being said, I'll go ahead with my lineup. We're on the same page pretty much on a few of these players, Steve. One guy, my quarterback I have is Drew Brees. I think that's going to be a shoot 'em out type of game. So either quarterback, I definitely agree with. I have Stafford and some of the other daily fantasy plays I'm doing. So I think that's just a shoot 'em out game, and I like Breeze in that game. I also have C.J. Anderson. You know my feelings about the Giants' run defense.
Yeah.
So I'm right there with C.J. with you, Steve. C.J. should have a good game. I called Melvin Gordon against him last week, and that didn't disappoint. So
you're not lying.
I think the same thing. I think CJ has a big game here, coming off his bye week as well. Should have his legs a little bit fresher. I kind of like running backs off a bye week sometimes because it gives them a chance to get their legs fresh. And I got another one. I got Devontae Freeman. Same thing. Coming off his bye week, legs fresh. Even Tevin Coleman had a little bit more work right before the bye week, so Devontae should be really fresh in this game. And Miami, to me, they're just a poop storm right now. I don't want anything to do with. I want my guys that are going against guys that and don't want anybody on the team, frankly.
I hear that.
I went with Golden Tate also at receiver. We no more explaining there because it's basically just a matchup thing. New Orleans can't cover anybody.
Mm-hmm.
I have Alshon Jeffrey. Like you said, all three of them guys are playable tonight. They're the corners for Carolina have not been very good, and frankly, the corners from Philly haven't been very good. So, if you can get one of those guys in your lineup tonight, I kind of with Steve. I'm not big on Thursday night games because it seems to be a lot of bad football. But I like all the receivers tonight. If you wind up throwing one of them in your lineup, my third wide receiver I have kind of as a flyer. I have Danny Amendola. I've kind of also been on the Danny Amendola bandwagon. He's more of a PPR guy. We do FanDuel, so it is half-point PPR. So you're not getting as much, but Danny Amendola, I think he may only have one touchdown now that I think about it. I think he did score one touchdown a couple weeks ago, but I think he's due for a little more scoring, and I think this week is a good week to throw Amendola in as a flyer against the Jets D. My tight end, I have Jordan Reed. He has a really good matchup against San Fran. I've been high on Jordan Reed, and this like I said, I was big on a buy low on him the other day, and I think this is kind of his coming out party now that he seems fully healthy. I have as my kicker. My screen just went away. My kicker, I have Justin Tucker, and I went with the Giants defense mainly because I think if they're going to do anything, they got to step it up, and they got to prove, they got to prove something here. So it's more of just this was more of just a low money play, a low money play, and me thinking that they had the best chance. So
yeah, I hear that.
That's my lineup out there.
Yeah, I like it. I think the only call that you made that I would disagree on is the Giants defense, but other than that, I like the rest of your team. So
yeah, that was just more of a flyer on them probably having to step up, and if they don't, and it costs me points. So it is what it is. But
I hear that.
That was more of a flyer than anything.
I hear that. Low money situations put you in that predicament over in FanDuel. It's if you spend
exactly. That's my thing. Like with defenses and kickers, like Denver's defense is great this week, obviously, but they're going to cost you. And if you want, other players, solid other players, you're going to have to sacrifice when it comes to the defense. And this is my Giants are my sacrificial lamb.
I hear that. All right, everybody. So that's our podcast for tonight. You guys enjoy the games tonight, and go Birds.
Yes, EAGLES. Let's go.
All right, everybody. Have a good night and enjoy the game.